Hello and welcome. In this video, we are solving example to find ABCD parameter of a given network. Question is obtain ABCD parameter of the network shown. Here we are taking same example for which we have solved Z parameter, Y parameter, and here in this video we are solving for the ABCD parameter. For Z parameter and Y parameter, please refer previous videos. So this is our network. ABCD parameters V1 and I1 is function of V2 and I2. And these are the equation for ABCD parameter. We already know this. Our aim is apply Kirchhoff law and get equations, and we have to adjust this equation in such a way so that we can express V1 and I1 as a function of V2 and I2, and we can compare this equation with the standard ABCD parameter. So in our network there are three nodes, node 1, 2 and 3, three mesh 1, mesh 2 and mesh 3. So I1, I2 and I3 we assumed as our mesh current. Now let's apply KVL to mesh 1. So V1 is equal to 1 I1. In this 2 ohm there are two currents. I1 flows like this and I3 flows in a upward direction. So our KVL is V1 is equal to 1 I1 plus 2 I1 minus I3. Let's solve this. Combine the I1 terms. So we'll get V1 is equal to 3 I1 minus 2 I3. Now apply KVL to mesh 2. V2 is equal to 2. In this 2 ohm there are two currents I2 and I3 in the same direction. That's why V2 is equal to 2 I2 plus I3. Why plus? Because I2 and I3 flows in the same direction in a 2 ohm resistor. Let's solve this. V2 is equal to 2 I2 plus 2 I3. This is our equation 2. Now apply KVL to mesh 3. Mesh 3, 2, this 2 current flows I3 and I1 in opposite direction. That's why 2 I3 minus I1 plus I3 1 into I3, and in this 2 ohm I2 and I3 flows in the same direction. That's why plus 2 I3 plus I2. Let's solve this. Combine the I1 term, I2 term and I3 term and find I3 is equal to 2 by 5 I1 minus 2 by 5 I2, and this is our equation 3. Now we have three equations 1, 2 and 3. We have to use these three equations and adjust the terms such that we can compare these equations with the standard ABCD parameter equation. That means we have to adjust V1 as a function of V2 and I2, I1 as a function of V2 and I2 by taking these three equation combination. So we have these three equations. Now put the value of I3 in both the equations 1 and 2. So I3 is equal to this one. We are putting in a equation 1. V1 is equal to 3 I1 minus 2 I3. So I3 is this one, and let's combine I1 terms and I2 terms. So we got V1 is equal to 11 by 5 I1 plus 4 by 5 I2. Our aim, we want to adjust V1 as a function of V2 and I2. But here V1 is function of I1 and I2. So we need some more calculation. Again, in this second equation, we are putting the value of I3. Let's put I3, combine I1 terms and I2 terms, and we will get V2 as a function of I1 and I2 here. Now we can adjust this equation, and I1 is equal to 5 by 4 V2 minus 3 by 2 I2. Here we got I1 as a function of V2 and I2. So that this equation we can directly compare with our second ABCD parameter equation. But here V1 we want as a function of V2 and I2. So we need to replace this I1. So here we can put the value of I1 from this equation. So first, let's compare this equation with the standard ABCD parameter equation. So C is equal to 5 by 4 and D is equal to 3 by 2. So don't make a mistake here, minus 3 by 2, because this minus minus and D is equal to 3 by 2. Now to get A and B parameter, we need to replace this I1. So substitute the value of I1 in this equation. Substitute equation 4 in this equation and you will get V1 as a function of V2 and I2. So this equation we can compare with our standard ABCD parameter equation. We have these two equations. We are comparing this with the standard ABCD parameter equation. First ABCD parameter equation and second one. V1 as a function of V2 I2. V1 as a function of V2 I2. Here I1 as a function of V2 I2. I1 as a function of V2 I2. So A is equal to 11 by 4. B is equal to 5 by 2. C is equal to 5 by 4 and D is equal to 3 by 2. So these are our ABCD parameter. So here we have applied KVL to the all the mesh and we have adjusted the equation such that we can compare this equation with the standard ABCD parameter to get the ABCD parameter. Thank you.